What's up, YouTube? This is True Raw for Sports. All right, so I want to go ahead and continue with this series of the 10 most NBA ready players in the history of the game. All right, so we keep emphasizing this for those in the slow section. This is just my opinion. This isn't an established fact. People often request me to do these types of videos. All right, it's fun. It stimulates a lively debate within the comment section, and that's all it is to this. It's not to be taken too seriously, though. I think most people would kind of get, they would understand the picks that I pick, even if they don't agree with the order. So just to do a brief recap, at number 10, I had the Big E, Elvin Hayes. At number 9, I had Wes Unseld. At number 8, I had the big fundamental Tim Duncan. At number 7, I had Larry Joe Bird. At number 6, I had Irvin Magic Johnson. And at number 5, I had the now late, great Bill Russell. At number 4, I have the big O, Oscar Robertson. And to be quite honest, you can make an argument that he is the most NBA-ready player we've ever seen. When you look at his rookie year, there was really no, even Jerry West, there was an adjustment period between college and the NBA. There was a little bit of adjustment period. Not with Oscar. Not with Oscar. He came right into the NBA and was just about as dominant in the NBA as he had been in his collegiate career. So there was very little drop off. And that reflected in not only his individual awards, but in the team success. Although the team did not see the success that they wanted, but Oscar Robertson put asses in the seats, and he pretty much saved the then Cincinnati Royals from folding, right? So before I get to the NBA career, I want to talk about his collegiate career. Now, back in those days, as I mentioned with prior picks in this list, because a lot of these guys come from that era, players didn't play in their freshman year. So Oscar Robertson played college ball for Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Bearcats. And his first year of eligibility, when he was a sophomore, he averaged 35.1 points, 15.2 rebounds on 57% shooting and 79% from the foul line. In 1958-59, Oscar Robertson averaged 32.6 points per game, 16.3 rebounds. The assist stat was for the first time kept, and he averaged 6.9 assists to go along with 51% shooting and 79% from the foul line. And his senior year, he averaged 33.7 points to go along with 14.1 rebounds, 7.3 assists, 53% shooting from the floor, 76% from the foul line. He played in 88 total games for the Bearcats. In those games, the team won 79 and lost only 9 games. And he averaged 33.8 points per game in his collegiate career. As a matter of fact, until Pete Maravich arrived for LSU, Oscar Robertson was the NCAA all-time leading scorer. Until, like I said, Pete Maravich topped him in 1970 as far as total points and scoring average. For his career, he averaged 33.8 points in college, 15.2 rebounds, 53.5% shooting, and 78% from the foul line. And he did all of that as a 6'5", 205-pound guard. Now, in 1960, he played for what is considered by some will even argue, the greatest Olympic team of all time. Others will say, hey, they're top two, top three, what have you. But in 1960, in the Summer Olympics, he and Jerry West were the co-captains of that amateur team that won the Olympic gold medal in Rome. They won by an average of 42.4 points per game, which I believe is third all time behind Bill Russell's Sydney, Australia Olympic team in '56 that won by an average of 53.5 points per game, and the '92 Dream Team that won by 44.8 points per game. But this team was special. It had future basketball Hall of Famers Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, Jerry Lucas, and Walt Bellamy. And that team was inducted into the Hall of Fame some years ago. That Olympic team. Now, the year before Oscar Robertson entered the NBA, the Cincinnati Royals in 1959-60 had only went 19-56 on the year. 19-56. At that time, it was a 75-game schedule. And that was a horrible record. They were losing money. They had been losing for quite some time. They had not been doing well since they moved from Rochester to Cincinnati a couple of years prior. And they were really, realistically, just a couple of years or so away from folding as a franchise because they were losing so much money. And they were pinning a lot of their hopes, their future hopes, on the acquisition of Oscar Robertson. Now, the Cincinnati Royals acquired Oscar Robertson as a territorial pick, being from Cincinnati. His rookie year, the team improved, but not to the level of other teams because the talent was still sort of marginal. But they did improve from 19 wins to 33 wins. I think they were like a game out of the last playoff spot at that time. But things were looking up. You know, they had improved. And more importantly, Oscar Robertson was putting the asses in the seat. And in his rookie year, he averaged 30.5 points, 10.1 rebounds, 9.7 assists on 47% shooting from the floor and 82% from the foul line. He won Rookie of the Year. And not only did he win Rookie of the Year, he was also the 1961 All-Star Game MVP, the first of three such awards. And he also led the NBA in assists. No, actually, he led the NBA in assists. I take that back. He was, I think, second in the NBA in assists to Bob Cousy. But he would go on to lead the NBA in assists 6 times. And, of course, the thing with Oscar Robertson was he had some of the same problems that Wilt Chamberlain had. A great individual player who was perennially limited by the amount of talent surrounded by him. Okay? He only could do but so much. So oftentimes his teams, from a playoff standpoint, were disappointments. And of course, he didn't win a championship until he teamed up with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar later on in his career. By that time, he was with the Milwaukee Bucks. We look at his accomplishments: a 2-time Helms College Player of the Year, 3-time UPI College Player of the Year, 2-time USBWA College Player of the Year, 3-time Sporting News College Player of the Year, 3-time Consensus First Team All-American, 3-time NCAA Season Scoring Leader, 3-time First Team All-MVC. His number 12 was retired by the Cincinnati Bearcats. He was Mr. Basketball USA back in 1956. To me, the 4th most NBA-ready player of all time, the Big O, Oscar Robertson. As a matter of fact, I want to add one other thing I want to make a point about. Oscar Robertson had to deal with a lot of racism. I mean, in your face shit. Um, Perhaps even more so than Russell because of the area that he went to school with. Now, don't get me wrong, Russell had to deal with shit when he went to Boston. But when he was going to college in San Francisco, it was a little bit easier. Oscar Robertson went to college in Cincinnati, which, even though it's not part of the South, that was a very racist area at that time. And not only that, but oftentimes Oscar, as a basketball player, because he played for Cincinnati, they had to travel to teams in the South, Kentucky, and all these other teams, North Carolina, where there was a lot of fucking racism consistently. So he dealt with a lot of shit, which made him mentally tough and strong, have to deal with. Like Heckler is talking about him, he had already been mentally toughened at that point to deal with that bullshit. So yeah, this is one of the most NBA ready players of all time, in my opinion, Oscar Robertson. Tell me what you guys think.